Yes, people. It is literally been a hot minute since I've done one of these videos. I did take a few months out of trading. It was nice to just not really look at it and do other things. But going to the end of the year, things have been getting sorted. I'm back. I'm trading how I was before. Full steam ahead. Um, let's fucking smash it. So even though I haven't been trading, I've still been looking at the market anyway in general. One thing I've been looking at is cryptos as well. I'm going to go from like cryptos, commodities, currencies, and then I'm going to do a few stocks. So this video may be like quite a bit long, but there's going to be some juicy info in it. So yeah. Okay, so first one, Bitcoin on the monthly time frame. As you can see, we have literally just been mooning and mooning. Let me just delete this a sec. So, what I just deleted was just my plan basically. So, we've just been massive run. Where are we? Let's take highlighter. We had our low, high, lower low, potential lower high, lower low, higher high, high low, higher high. Here is where we shifted that structure. When we shifted that structure, what happened? You can see price came down, filled this fair value gap. Hang on, I don't know what my screen. Hang on, guys. Okay. Um, we filled this fair value gap, and basically, I'm sure you guys have heard like, oh, fair value gap, blah blah blah, this and that. A fair value gap is basically nothing more than like a massive pump of volume within the market. So price always likes to rebalance itself, as you guys know. If you don't, then now you know. Price is always going to rebalance itself. So price came in. We didn't get as far deep as I'd probably like, to be honest with you. But after that, we've literally just been absolutely running. This is on the weekly time frame, by the way. When we reached the high of 73,000, we came back down into 48. Whereas we came back down into 48. Well, first, this is where we reached the first all-time high, came all the way back down to 15,000. Wild. And then after that, we've literally just been running. So when we hit previous last year or this year, where was it? 2000 last year, all-time highs. 73,000, we pulled back down into around the 50 range. That's nice and clean. This is where, like, even though we were buying here, this is obviously where, like, the major push happened to break out that barrier. We had that impulse correction, and then we had that impulse again. And as you can see, when we broke this high, it was just one big straight candle on the weekly. If we go down to the daily, you can see all of this is literally just one big impulse and one big move. This. So if I go, what we got in the 3 day? 3 day, nothing really too wild. Weekly is better. You can see here, this is always a really, really dead giveaway whenever I'm looking at areas like this. This candle low has no wick, which means on the Monday, as soon as market opened, it fucking ran. Tuesday or the week after that, it didn't even pull back at the beginning of the week. It literally just mooned, which is now supposedly should be telling you that at these points, there's going to be a lot of buyers within here because people are just going to like buy at the open, buy whatever. So there's just so much volume in here that this is just left open and price always needs to refill it. And even if we go down on the daily, you can see this actual major push that happened was from this daily candle. You can see we literally just tested that. That's all you need is literally just a testing clean. If you want to be really pedantic about it, you could do the whole area of the candle because that whole area is that whole volume that just pushed and then it just ran. Again, from this, what did you see? We had a impulse distribution. We came down and then we started accumulating. So distribution, accumulation. If you guys don't know about these things, then it's really, really good to get into. Market goes in phases. You're either accumulating, you're either distributing, or you're consolidating, or you're impulsing. So for perfect example, we have our impulse. This is our correction, and this is our impulse again. And when you obviously when you guys see trading, it's gonna see like, oh, you're in this fucking flag pattern bullshit, which in the sense that it's correct, but the way it's taught to you is incorrect because yes, that is the pattern, but all this is just manipulation, manipulation, manipulation. You know, that one final manipulation that comes into an area of significance, which is this fair value gap that we spoke about, and you can see we have a big area of volume here, which on a lower time frame again is literally nothing more than manipulation, manipulation. You have that one final raid, it comes down, we manipulate, and then we push. That is all the market is doing. The market is either impulsing like it is here, it's either running some sort of liquidity or it's testing something, i.e., in this case, it's doing two objectives in one. Now, when you were in this situation, this should have been what you should have been mapping out for. And within here, this is the high that you should have been targeting from day. Already I can see, I'm pretty sure I even took this trade. We have a shifter structure here, price come down. This was, where are we? This was our area that we were looking for. Again, what did we do? Price manipulated this low. Let's drop it down on a 4 hour. Where are we? Price manipulated this low. This is even on a 4 hour time frame, so this is just even more. When you're looking on a bigger time frame, it's going to be so much easier for you to break things down because if you can see it on a high time frame, it's going to happen on exactly all the other time frames. So amazing again here. Soon as we came, 1, 2, 3, we came in, we tested, we then shifted above here. Why for me would have this been a confirmation? Because there was no real raid of this high. Yeah, we did have this, but that's not really anything of significance in my opinion. And we still had a lot of all of this that needed to be taken. So many people are going to be selling, 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 and then it's just going to reverse and then take out the liquidity. And we take out liquidity because there's only a certain amount of liquidity that can be in a market at one point. So market needs to be released to then be able to add more liquidity for the price to be able to go higher. Basic supply and demand. So we had this high, which is our liquidity point. That was what we were going to be looking to target. Price then we came down. We then shifted daily structure. This was on the 4 hour. This was this little 4 hour zone that I was talking about. We came down, we shifted this sell to buy, that shifted above this structure. We didn't break this low, we didn't run this low. We've already done the work that we needed to do. Price is now showing us that we're breaking higher. This is that area of supply, and then we push demand, sorry. We pushing higher, and again, it was at this point, it was this buy, this one major candle, which really give us that push and run. So again, where we kind of are moving forward, fair value volume, price tested. We also came down into the 50% or around the 50%, I believe. Did we come down? Yeah. So we even tested the midpoint 50% range of this to continue high. So buy should have been obvious around this point. Again, what do we have daily? We have this zone. I'm actually looking at it on a weekly time frame. Exactly the same thing that happened here. It came up, came down, we ran. Exactly here. What did we come into? We came into an area of significance. We came into volume. What did we come into here? Pull back into the 50%. Tested into this volume point where price broke above. Again, price broke above here. What are we looking for? We have basic structure. We have that low high, high high, high low, higher high, looking for that high low to then come in and go to that higher high. Why am I looking at this point even on a weekly time frame? Because this is the point where volume kicked in the market, which actually forced and drove us to come start breaking above this high. So I am not buying Bitcoin until I'm at least around the 92K mark. Anywhere within this whole range. Honestly, my swing position will probably look something like this. And what I can imagine is we'll have some sort of rally that we did have here. Um, there's a tool that I'm trying to find. Mm, is it this one? Okay, sweet. So I think we're just gonna keep doing this. Just keep trickling and running. I mean, even on the basic fib extension, our negative 89 is up 169. Basically, let's just call it 170k. 150k is so easily on the cards, and I am overall high time frame bullish on Bitcoin overall, but I am not doing nothing until we see this move back down into 90. So let's now talk about what's happened up here. So the lowest I've gone basically is a 4 hour only working on the weekly and the daily. And this is how much information we've taken just on the weekly and daily. If you can tr like trade or analyze the weekly and the daily trading, you'd be surprised like how your trading changes. So now we have our high time frame zones, we have our weekly, we have our daily. We're looking at these areas anywhere into 90k. That's where we're looking for. Fantastic. So what did we have? Again, same as before, manipulation, 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 manipulation. Price dries up one more time, we die off into our area, and then we just push. Sorry, that was my speaker. Again, manipulation, 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 manipulation. We push into that area that we're looking for and then push. Exactly the same. Manipulating. This is our distribution. This is our accumulation. This is our impulse. Again, this is our distribution. We'll have our impulse. We will then accumulate and then we will impulse. It's so simple when you just look at the high time frames. So now we have a position. We had this, let me just delete all this. Okay, so we had high one, high two, high three, and those are our manipulation points. We have big major volume candle, you can see. There's actually a really stupid name for these candles. They're called a Merubuzu candle, and it's basically you have a candle, it's just pure volume and buying power, and nothing's like selling from it. So I've always had the idea that people know the concepts that I'm telling you right now. Nothing's new. But what I do think is going to happen is more people will be looking at this zone, which I'm going to be honest is not wrong because we have an impulse, we have our accumulation, we have our raids, a liquidity. This is our one final raid, and then we have that push move up. I completely get that. But this now has turned into an overall bigger distribution to have an overall move into another higher time frame accumulation. Which is why I think what will happen is this zone will fail. Price will do whatever, it will come down here, it will go up, do something, and then we'll do something like this. That's what I'm thinking that price will just roll. Look exactly the same what happened here. Price died. Yeah, that massive push, get people in, and then and then it runs. It's too predictable. So, with that being said, where do we go from here now? I actually caught some nice shorts on Bitcoin a little while ago. So let's replay this. Okay, so Bitcoin was at a point where we had ran literally our new all-time high within here, 125K, let's just call it. We ran, and what did we start doing? Boom, manipulating, manipulating, manipulating. And these to me are not breaks of structure. If price is just doing this and wiggling, pumping, wiggling a bit, pumping, wiggling a bit, like there's so much like stuff in here. Nothing will just rise and go. And do you know what I'm saying? Like, especially not a cryptocurrency. It's gonna fluctuate. It's gonna be volatile. All of this is just generating liquidity, generating liquidity. What did I say before? The market has to release liquidity to actually then be able to buy back into it. This is exactly what has happened now. We had this zone that I'm looking for. Actually, no, sorry. We had all of this liquidity. Market needs to release liquidity, releasing all of this to then be able to push the price higher. So we'd broken all-time highs, and after this point, I said, okay, cool. What are we gonna do around here? We then broke this low. That's our confirmed break of structure right now. If you can see already, this high was taken, this high was taken. We then came in to this overall major zone. We started shifting below these lows. Price came up, boom, we dumped. We have an imbalance here, imbalance here, imbalance here. But this imbalance here is where that first real strong point of contact came with the shorts for it to then run through. So basic, place your orders. Uh, you get tagged, and price then stayed within. We then broke this low, exactly the same. This is now our area of confirmation that we're looking for. We have that tag, literally wicked it and then died all the way down into here. This perfect point of liquidity. No raid of liquidity from how many hours is this? This is Thursday. Thursday to Sunday, crypto's market don't open. You basically got 4 or 5 days of so many people around the world buying. There's probably millions and billions of dollars within this point right here. So for the market to be released is not a surprise. Uh, let's clear. How do I get rid of this? So that was that was the die off. Price came down. I was looking for, where was I looking for? Well, first of all, what you can see is we have this. Uh, so on the day, we had this massive Merubuzu candle, and I said, okay, cool. If price breaks this volume, this is in other ways gonna be like support and resistance. It's kind of is, but it's not. It's supply and demand because that's how the market kind of really works. You had a daily fair value gap in here. Technically, this shifted momentum, and if price had come into here, accumulated, and then pushed, that would have been a different story. But the fact that we broke this zone, I'm really looking to see if there's anything within this zone which kind of confirms that more for me. Again, literally 4 hour time frame, Merubuzu candle. We can then start tightening this in, going down lower time frames. Boom, 12-hour daily. This is that high volume that we were looking at in here. Price came in, we died off, we took some liquidity, we come all the way back up. We did nothing other than just sweep this high. That's actually all we did. We came up, we swept this high. This isn't no liquidity. This is a double top, whatever people want to call it, a double top. And they do work, obviously, in the sense it did play out. But in future purposes, this high did get taken, and we are now pushing. So, gameplay for next week. I am looking, first of all, 100k shorts into 100k. That's what I'm looking for. What I do want to potentially see now is price kind of, oh, is price kind of dawdle a bit, come down, run, sweep, test into here, and then die off. That is what I'm hoping for. We can generate a little bit more liquidity in here, and then run it off. If we go 30-minute time frame, why am I looking at that? Simple basics. Price came up, we ran. We then took with this move, this high, on a lower time frame, there's going to be a sell to buy to sell within this wick. That's all a wick is, just a sharp move. Taking out this high as well, we then broke structure going into Asia session or market closure, and then we started dying off. Price could have tested it up here, we didn't. 15-minute, we have a really nice just sell volume candle, which price almost did come into, but I definitely think considering we didn't, that's going to be another excuse to then actually drive the market a little bit higher, come in, test that zone, and then come back down. If not, I not really too I don't really care too much. Obviously, if it happens, nice. If it doesn't, we are just going to play it out. The high time frame, there's going to be so many opportunities within here for whatever. But yeah, Bitcoin shorts going into next week. Overall, looking for shorts from around 113,000 back down into 100k. So looking for Bitcoin to lose like 13k worth of value, which is wild. Yeah, Bitcoin. ETH, basically same sort of scenario. Since we took out this weekly, price has obviously just been bearish, slightly coming down. We have a monthly fair value gap within here that I'm really waiting for price to see if we can come test back down into this zone and push higher. So maybe looking around like 3k, just a little bit above $3,000 to get met again. Wouldn't even be surprised if price literally tested that just below 3k. So far though, what we are looking at, we have a literally, this is a perfect example of what I'm saying. We have sweep run of lows, you can see down here. As soon as we had that price, then violently impulsed, creating a strong fair value gap. Price then came down, we tested this zone and we go on the daily. Price then, look at this, again, that Marubozu kind of just straight buying power. We came in, we tested, and then we literally have just been running ever since. Took out this high, and now I do expect this high to be taken, but what I do think is just, I think it's just going to be liquidity now for this point. Daily time frame, we have this wick low. I can literally not even tell you how many times I see a wick low like this, and it will get taken. I, it happens every single, literally, what do we have here? We had that single wick low, all of this shit in between, and then it dies. This wick low, all this shit in between, it dies. This wick, we have all this shit, and it dies. Like, it literally happens all the time. Here, wick, it kind of wiggles about. Took a little while, admittedly, we came up, but ultimately, this wick then got failed out. It happens every single time. So if you don't think that ETH is going to go below 3,500, you're wild. even if price came up a bit, we did something, and then we came up around and did something like this. Maybe, maybe not. I hope it doesn't. What I do hope is I do hope price is just going to come down into here. We're going to do something wild, and then price is going to run. Simple, basic. I wouldn't place a trade, boom, straight when we get into there. But when I do start seeing the actual moves, the accumulation, as soon as we start seeing this break, we're looking for a area of volume, price comes back in, and then we start looking for buys. Fantastic. Don't be surprised if ETH even ran all the way down here. We still on even on the daily time frame, we still have massive zones on dailies that still have not yet been taken. And I mean, I'm talking this is going to be like almost a 40% like drop, which is wild. 1,500 pips. A lot of movement. Again, even on the daily, you can just see we've got that little fair value gap in here. I'm basically looking for shorts, same as Bitcoin. We came into this zone. Price started dying off. We came back up. We tested this zone one last time. All of this is just mitigations of fair value gaps and zones in here. You can even tighten that up. There we go. Mirobuzu candle came up. We tested, swept all this liquidity. We died. Now we have this high right here. So what I would like to see is price come up into here going into next week. And then just start dying off. That will be on the cards for next week. That's what I'm looking for. We are looking for a 1 to 3.5 R. That's pretty good. I will probably scale down. But so far that's what I'm looking for. Really quick, UK oil and US oil. I'm looking for shorts literally down into $50. Bold, bold move. But again, you can see price rallied, same thing, even on a monthly time frame, we are sweeping liquidity, sweeping liquidity. We have that final sweep, we have that shift in momentum. So now all of this is pretty much just a gap. Let me go on a 3 month, 3 months. Yeah, so you can see all of this is just the big, let me go on the 8 month again. You can see all of this is just one big fair value gap. Even on the fucking higher time frames, you've got inverted fair value gaps still haven't been taken. What about if we go a year? Yeah, on a year, look at that. It's actually just one big manipulation move. So with that being said, weekly, daily, oil has been moving pretty bearish anyway. Bearish moves, bearish moves, bearish moves. Again, same exact thing with Ethereum. We have that wick, price kind of fucks about for a bit, and then we die off. Again, you can see super strong volume in the market, gets inversed. Price comes into here on the daily, literally the same thing. Manipulation, manipulation. We have that final raid. Price dies, creating a big area of volume. You can see we literally came right into the 50% of this overall selling volume. Price then died. Once we died off, we started breaking below this low. Again, another area of volume on the 4 hour time frame. Price then we came up, boom, came in, tested 50%, and then we died off. 4 hour time frame, again, we can invert this, and or not invert it, we can tighten that up, and we can go into this 4 hour time frame, or what I've done is I'm working off the daily. Again, no wick on this daily candle. So what I'm really, really looking to see is, I can delete this. I'm looking to see a potential sharp move down, run, sells. We have a daily fair value gap in here. And we also have a candle with no wick at the bottom, which is telling us that there was just pure buyers within this point. Price is starting to accumulate right now, which is really nice. Again, you can see this high has not yet been taken, telling me even on the 4 hour time frame, people are going shorts, 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 all the way down into here. What did I tell you? Liquidity needs to be released from the market to be able to add more to it, which is why we're going to generate all of this liquidity in here. We're going to run and then come back into this big volume area before we start buying off. I'm honestly thinking like 68K. I know 60, like I don't think we could go back up to 70, honestly. I feel like $67 a barrel, 67, 67 down to 50, honestly, straight, yeah. I mean, look at that. My fib extensions, this is my low, this is my high. That is clean as fuck. If that was a textbook trade, that would be it. $50 a barrel. US oil, exactly the same play. Looking for even shorts done to 50 even, $52. This is pounds, by the way, 50 pound a barrel, sorry. And this is going to be $50 a barrel. Again, simple fib. Looking for this zone, what's our final fib coming up? $46 a barrel. Wild. Again, $50 is not on, it's definitely not something that we can't get to. I was saying to my partner yesterday, something is going to happen next year, and it's going to be, it will affect the world quite bad. I don't know what it is, but everything is kind of looking a bit too like short, in my opinion. Oil is looking like it's going to die. Bitcoin is looking like it's going to die. All of this is going to die to then recoup and regain and be stronger again. Again, Ethereum, looking for that to die. UK oils, I'm looking for them to die off as well. I haven't looked at too much currencies. The only one I have looked at is NZD/USD. I'll just talk about this one quick and then we'll wrap it up because I've been talking quite a long time. Again, what did I tell you? Weekly, as you can see, we've just been bearish, basically. We kind of we ran this high, and then this is our buy to sell breaking structure. We came in and we tested this whole zone, and then price is just kind of coming back down, is what it is. Shorts, I'm looking for, obviously, dollars getting a little bit stronger. We have that single wick low, we have all this gibberish in the middle, and then for price the kind of push. Actually, what I don't think, maybe something bad might not happen, but I think potentially, obviously, the dollar is going to potentially get massively stronger. Maybe something bad wasn't the right word, but if all of these are looking like they're going to die, that means dollar strength. Um, really quick, was looking for daily fair value gap, daily volume to be tested within here. We could maybe come up slightly. We could be on the cards. I'm not saying that it's not. This is a nice zone to be looking for if we're kind of just looking at structure. I I don't know if I would say that was, if price then came up, that would probably be a bit more of a swing for me. If not, it's fine. price doesn't always need to go up there. And what potentially could happen is price goes all the way down. We take out this low, we break above. There's going to be something in here. Price inverts it, and then we look for longs from in here. That is something that could happen. Obviously, fair value gaps don't always get tested. Again, you can see major ones on the weekly. Not every time they get tested. So, hourly, what do we have? Didn't have a great raid of liquidity, but we took the high, fairly moderate. We then were, what's this for? Okay, that's fine. Price came down. We had this extension leg. So price is breaking lower. We came up. We broke structure. This is also daily structure as well. So now from our lower high to our lower low, if I do a fib, you can see that price came in to 7618, and I'm looking for, could be looking for shorts off here. So initially, what the trade could have or should have been, had I been trading, could have been something like this. Could have gone for a 1 to 2 5, or if you're swinging back down into these lows, 6R, whatever. But for the here and now though, 4 hour restart. Okay, so we came from this point, and also you can see we just came into a supply zone. Again, all of this jargon needs to get taken. So price came up. What are we doing? Once again, manipulation, 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 manipulation till we get that one final bit. Price then breaks. We do have a big volume zone in here. Price broke that, but we did come up. You can see we came into areas in here. Inversion. Could have had an entry from here. Might have been slightly a bit riskier. Price then died off. But now what I'm looking for is all of this needs to be ran. And this is going into Thursday, Friday kind of jargon, end of week slowing down. Daily, we have a really hourly, sorry, we have a really nice 1 hour. And on the 4 hour as well, obviously we've got this big zone. So I'm kind of waiting for price to kind of trickle and then die off. If price does want to run up and we run up into, let me just price could run up and we could hit our weekly open. That is fine. That would slightly be annoying. But what I might do is I could even just do half a position here, half a position here. Have this one a bit tighter. And have like that. First one 3.4R, second one 6R. And just carry that down for shorts. That's looking nice. We have that, our EMA's crossing over. A bit extension. Yeah, 50%. Look at that. Exactly in the equilibrium. Clean. Clean. That is NU. That's the only one I'm looking at, honestly. I have been looking at bits of gold and other bits of stock, but this video is going to be quite long. So I will do bits and bobs and other videos and things like that. But so far, this was Bitcoin, Ethereum, oils, and NZD/USD. If you guys got any questions, let me know. Feel free to fire away, and I will help everyone as much as I can. All right, guys.